Welcome back, my legends, and today we're going to discuss the stories from the Outlands Promise trailer and what it means lore-wise. So let's begin. Now, the first thing I want to establish for everybody that doesn't know what's happening, this happened about 87 years ago. So this takes place in the year 2646. So the events in the trailer happened some decades ago, and what we hear from Horizon is that the whole city was in a terrible state because they were running out of energy. And in this emergency meeting, Horizon was the one that told everybody that, hey, I have a plan to save us all because I'm true to my word. What that tells me is that there's a lot of division and mistrust in the people of Olympus, because if you get to a point where you're running out of energy to sustain the city, that doesn't just happen randomly. That tells me there's been a lot of mismanagement and blaming each other instead of trying to solve the big issue at hand. So Horizon said, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself. Now, this is where we get to the personal stuff about Horizon. So we see that Horizon is a single mom and she has a kid, but what makes this even sadder is that Horizon tells us that she had to make sacrifices, and in this scene we see that Horizon's at the park and making a sketch to something that she will later create to become her robot called Newt. So Newt is going to play an important part later on in the trailer, but why is this sad? Well, because the fact that she had to spend so much time creating this thing to save the whole city, what this tells me is that she probably didn't spend a lot of time with her son. So I don't want to say she neglected her son, it's just that her job was so important because she needed to save the city that unfortunately she didn't have time to spend with him. And what makes this even sadder is that eventually Horizon was going to have to tell her son that unfortunately she was going to have to leave him in order to do a very dangerous mission to save the city. Now, from an adult's perspective, it's totally understandable, but from a kid's perspective, not having a dad and your mom basically being so focused on her work, from the kid's perspective, it's going to seem like maybe his mom doesn't love him, which couldn't be further from the truth. His mom is doing this because she wants him to live in a very safe place. That's why she calls it a kingdom. In fact, she even goes as far as to say that she's her very special person. So in this next scene, we can see that Horizon did some tests and she was happy to see that the results came back positive. So her whole experiment could actually work and she could actually save the city. But before she left, what she did is she made a promise to her son that she'll be back. And I think it's safe to assume that she probably promised her son that she was going to spend more time with him now that her work is going to be over. And so she's going to have all the time in the world to be with him. But unfortunately, we saw what happened. So what we see is that they go to this, I don't even know what to call it, a black hole, wormhole. But point is, they go to this place where she was going to use her new robot Newt to extract some material that transforms into a crystal called Branthium. Now, what this tells me is that this mineral is very rare and powerful. The fact that this one crystal could save an entire city, this crystal is no joke, and probably there's some people out there that will do anything to get their hands on this. So what we see in this next scene is that we see that Horizon is telling us that they live happily ever after because the mission was a success. All the last thing she had to do was just to go back home and complete her promise. Unfortunately, we see that this redheaded girl, which was Horizon's assistant, got a call from somebody telling her, did you get it? And what happened is that she betrayed Horizon and pretty much left her for dead in this vortex times place. So what happened is that the longer you stay in this place, time gets distorted. So time slows down for you, but for everybody else, everything keeps on going. This is why we see changes to Horizon's son. Horizon's son is growing up. And what we know from the teasers is that Horizon has been stuck here for about 5 months. And unfortunately for Horizon, 5 months equals about 87 years in the future. So, but instead of dying here, Horizon was somehow able to manage to get another crystal because, again, her robot Newt is able to do that, and somehow she was able to get another one. And not a lot of people are going to notice this, but what Horizon did was kind of insane. She made a ship that wasn't designed to go into like jump drive into space. She somehow managed to bend time and space where she could do that and safely get off this place so that way she can go home. And unfortunately, she went back home 87 years later. And unfortunately for Horizon, it looks like she's not going to keep her promise and seeing her son again, because it's kind of assumed that he died. Because if it was 87 years ago and that kid looked like he was like 12 years old, maybe 8, he died somewhere and he was his 90s. So unfortunately, it looks like Horizon might be too late. Or is he? Because Horizon does say that she will see him again soon. Like, she's almost confident in that. So yeah, my legends. Now, how do I think her end game's gonna go? Well, here's the thing. I think Horizon might be wanting to get that crystal Branthium back in order for her to go back in time. But unfortunately, I think what's going to happen is that she's going to have like a small window of time to talk to her son in the past to change something very important in the future. That's my guess. And also explain to her son what happened and basically try to get her son's forgiveness. And I'm pretty sure the son's going to forgive her and tell her that it wasn't until he grew up that he realized that everything she did was for him, even though as a kid he might have felt neglected. The reason why Horizon did it is because she loved him so much that she was willing to go to the ends of the earth and even go back to the past just to see him one last time. So yeah, my legends, what Horizon reminds me of is the movie Interstellar with Samurai Jack trying to go back to the past kind of vibes. So my legends, it looks like I was wrong about Horizon not being the next legend. So I'm gonna change my profile and Twitter pic to a clown of Caustic. But on the next video, my legends, I'm going to expose who I think this red-headed girl is and who her bosses really are and why they wanted to get rid of Horizon on the next video, my legends. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
There's no more time for us to turn back and hit rewind. No more chances to reverse back in time. There's no more choice to look behind. And in the end, all the sadness that had ripped into my heart so many times, but still I'll go on. I can feel my heart beating again in the silence here with you. Trust me from now, because I know we're together.